Dove and Grammy Award-winning singer David Phelps. I first met David about 20 years ago when he was performing in Aiken during the heyday of his first big hit, End of the Beginning.
David Phelps has been one of the most loved voices in gospel music, bringing hope and peace to countless people through his songs. After rising to fame with the Gaither Vocal Band, he built a successful solo career that has lasted for decades. But recently, heartfelt speculation about David and his life began to spread, eventually leading him to share a personal revelation that touched many people in the gospel community. So, what exactly did David Phelps reveal? Join us in this video as we unveil the truth. The heartbreaking truth David Phelps could no longer keep hidden. For years, fans saw the polished performances. They saw the warm smile. They heard the powerful, flawless voice that filled concert halls and touched countless hearts. But behind the standing ovations and unforgettable performances was a side of David Phelps that very few people ever knew. Hidden beneath the success were quiet struggles, moments of deep doubt, and emotional battles that he carried in silence. Then came a revelation that left gospel music fans completely speechless. It wasn't a scandal. It wasn't a controversy. It wasn't the kind of shocking headline that dominates social media for a few days before fading away. Instead, it was something far more powerful. It was the truth. And that truth reminded the gospel community that even the strongest voices can hide the deepest pain. The unforgettable moment came during one of David's most heartfelt public appearances. Fans expected another inspiring performance. They expected stories about music, faith, and family. Instead, they witnessed something far more personal. As David reflected on the journey that had shaped his remarkable career, he began speaking with a level of honesty that caught everyone off guard. He opened up about the pressure he had quietly carried for years, explaining that people often believe successful performers always have everything under control. From the outside, his life seemed almost perfect. He had an award-winning career, worldwide recognition, a loving family, and thousands of faithful fans who admired him. But David gently reminded everyone that appearances can often hide reality. He admitted there were seasons when exhaustion became overwhelming, when the expectations placed upon him felt heavier than he could bear, and when he quietly wondered whether he had the strength to keep carrying the responsibilities that came with the life he had been given. The room fell silent. Many people had never heard David speak with such openness before. For years, he had been the one encouraging others through his music, lifting broken hearts and strengthening people's faith. But now, for one of the first times, he was allowing the audience to see the man behind the microphone, the man who had faced struggles that no one else could see. What made the moment even more emotional was his honest confession about perfection. David explained that many artists live under impossible expectations. Fans expect perfection. Promoters expect perfection. The music industry expects perfection. Before long, performers begin demanding perfection from themselves as well. But perfection, David admitted, simply doesn't exist. No matter how gifted someone may be, no matter how successful they become, and no matter how strong their faith appears, everyone has limits. He shared that it had taken him years to truly understand that lesson. Years of personal growth, years of mistakes, and years of learning that a person's value should never be measured by applause or public approval. As David continued speaking, tears could be seen throughout the audience. His words reached far beyond music. They spoke to the human heart. Everyone knows what it feels like to carry heavy expectations. Everyone understands the fear of letting people down. Everyone has experienced smiling in front of others while quietly fighting battles that no one else could see. In that moment, the legendary gospel singer no longer seemed distant or untouchable. He became someone people could relate to, a man of faith who had experienced pain, uncertainty, and moments of weakness, just like everyone else. That honesty created a powerful connection with the audience, leaving many deeply moved. David ended by speaking about the role faith had played, through every difficult season of his life. He explained that faith had never promised him a life without hardship. Instead, it had given him the strength to keep standing when life became overwhelming, and the courage to keep moving forward when the path ahead seemed uncertain. That simple but powerful truth touched countless hearts, leaving many in the gospel community with tears in their eyes and a renewed understanding that even the strongest believers sometimes need strength to carry on. Could hidden moments from David Phelps's life have led to his heartfelt revelation? Keep watching to find out. The woman behind David Phelps's greatest heartbreak. Behind David Phelps's emotional journey was another heartbreaking chapter that deeply affected his life: the loss of his beloved sister, Sherry Proctor. Those who knew Sherry often remembered her in the simplest yet most beautiful way, with a song on her lips, a smile on her face, and a prayer in her heart. That is the memory she left with everyone who had the privilege of knowing her. After a brave battle with cancer, the Lord called Sherry home on Tuesday, September 25th, leaving behind a family, a church, and a community that would never forget her unwavering faith. Just a few weeks before her passing, Sherry stood beside her brother, David Phelps, to perform several songs during his annual barn bash held at his farm in the Kulioka community. The event was completely sold out, with nearly 500 people filling every seat. Together, the brother and sister delivered beautiful gospel hymns that touched every heart in the audience. By the end of their performance, the crowd rose to its feet, giving them a heartfelt standing ovation. Looking back, it became a moment that many would remember with even greater emotion. Music was always one of the most important parts of Sherry's life, second only to her faith and family. She and Mark first met while they were college students and members of the Continental Singers, a traveling group of young adults who shared contemporary Christian music with audiences across many places. She later became the worship leader at Fellowship Church in Lubbock, Texas, where she continued using her gift to lead others in worship. Behind the scenes, she also served as the booking agent for her brother, David Phelps, while performing with him as part of the David Phelps family band. In later years, audiences grew to love hearing her sing backup vocals and beautiful duets alongside David during many of his concerts. After moving to Highland Park, Sherry became a faithful member of the Sanctuary Choir, where singing remained one of the greatest joys of her life. Even after her illness made it impossible for her to continue singing with the choir, her love for worship never disappeared. She continued to find joy by worshiping from the congregation, holding on to the hope that one day she would be able to return to the choir she loved so much. That hope, along with her unwavering faith, quiet strength, and joyful spirit, became part of the lasting legacy she left behind, touching everyone who knew her and leaving an unforgettable mark on the lives of those she loved most. Now that we've seen the tragedy and the events that led to David's revelation, let's go back to the beginning and discover the journey that shaped him into the man he is today. Stay tuned for more. The early years that shaped David Phelps. Long before David Phelps became one of the most recognizable voices in gospel music, his journey began in the classrooms and music halls of Tomball High School in Tomball, Texas. He graduated in 1988, but even before receiving his diploma, it was clear that music was becoming the center of his life. David actively participated in both the school choir and band, where his remarkable talent quickly set him apart from his classmates. His exceptional vocal ability eventually earned him a place in the prestigious Texas All-State Mixed Choir as a tenor, an honor reserved for some of the most gifted young singers in the state. After high school, David continued following his passion by enrolling at Baylor University in Waco, Texas. There, he studied vocal performance and earned his bachelor's degree in 1992. His years at Baylor became one of the most important seasons in shaping the singer the world would later come to know. During his time at the university, he served as the director of the Baylor Religious Hour Choir, an important choir devoted to sacred music. Leading the group gave him valuable experience directing singers, developing leadership skills, and learning how to inspire others through music. He also trained with respected vocal instructor Joyce Farwell, whose classical teaching strengthened his voice and prepared him for major vocal recitals in 1991 and 1992. At Baylor, David developed stronger vocal technique, breath control, and confidence through classical performance training, while deepening his passion for Christian music by singing gospel hymns and contemporary sacred songs with the Religious Hour Choir. Through the university's theater department, David explored secular music by performing Broadway favorites and other theatrical pieces. Looking back on those years, he later described them as the time when he first cut his teeth, gaining invaluable experience by performing many different styles of music that would later define his unique sound. Every opportunity David received during his college years helped prepare him for the future. Whether he was leading choir rehearsals, performing in university productions, or singing as both a soloist and an ensemble member, each experience strengthened his confidence, sharpened his stage presence, and refined the vocal abilities that would eventually become his trademark. After graduating from Baylor University in 1992 with a degree in vocal performance, David accepted the position of artist in residence at First Baptist Church in Hurst, Texas. The role allowed him to lead worship services while receiving the church's support as he slowly began building a solo touring ministry. It also gave him valuable opportunities to perform at local church events and regional Christian music gatherings, where he started building meaningful relationships within the Southern gospel community. Over the following years, David gained valuable experience through regular live performances. Beginning at 18, he traveled across the United States and abroad for church mission trips and youth events, while also exploring opera and Broadway-style opportunities, expanding his musical experience beyond Christian music. A trusted professor later affirmed that decision, giving him the confidence to fully embrace the path he believed he was meant to follow. Those early experiences not only strengthened his reputation throughout Christian music circles in Texas, but also revealed the remarkable versatility that would later make his voice famous around the world. By 1996, David knew it was time to take the next step. Determined to pursue greater opportunities, he packed his bags and moved to Nashville, Tennessee, the heart of the Christian music industry. Shortly after arriving, he recorded a personal demo and sent it to Bill Gaither, creating one of the first important recordings of his professional career and opening the door to valuable connections within gospel music. But success did not come overnight. During his first 6 months in Nashville, David faced rejection after rejection as he presented his solo music to record labels. Even so, every setback strengthened his determination. But was this the only remarkable chapter in David Phelps's life, or was there much more still to come? Keep watching to find out. The next chapter of David Phelps's journey. David Phelps's solo career began taking shape in the mid-1990s while he was still performing with the Gaither Vocal Band. Even as he traveled and sang with the group, he was already working toward building a musical path of his own. In 1994, he released his first independent album, Journey to Grace, introducing listeners to his powerful tenor voice through uplifting, faith-filled songs. A few years later, in 2000, he took another important step by releasing Joy through Word Records. It was his first album with a major record label and featured a wonderful mix of beloved gospel classics and original songs. These early projects helped establish David as a gifted and versatile artist who could connect with many different audiences while using the recognition he had earned with the Gaither Vocal Band as a strong foundation for his growing solo career. A major turning point came in 2005 when David made the difficult decision to leave the Gaither Vocal Band and devote himself completely to his solo ministry. To begin this exciting new chapter, he released Life is a Church through Word Records. The album gave fans a closer look at David's personal vision because he not only co-produced the project, but also wrote several of its songs, focusing on themes of faith, hope, love, and the importance of community. With the freedom to fully express himself, David continued creating music that reflected both his heart and his beliefs. He followed with projects such as Revelation, which continued receiving attention after his departure from the group, and the live album Legacy of Love in 2006. Taking a leading role in producing these projects allowed him to showcase the incredible range, emotion, and power of his voice during live performances. By the time the late 2000s arrived, David had firmly established himself as one of gospel music's leading solo artists with the release of The Voice in 2008. The album climbed to number 15 on the Billboard Christian Albums chart and featured a beautiful blend of timeless hymns and contemporary Christian songs, many of which David personally arranged. As his solo career continued reaching new heights, David became known not only for his recordings, but also for the unforgettable experience of seeing him perform live. His concerts developed a style all their own, combining heartfelt worship, inspiring stories, dramatic stage presentation, and genuine connection with the audience. Every performance felt personal and memorable. His live album, No More Night, Live in Birmingham, released in 2007 through Word Records, perfectly captured his powerful stage presence, emotional delivery, and remarkable ability to sing across multiple octaves while adding spontaneous moments that amazed audiences. During that same period, David's annual Christmas concerts also became one of the most beloved parts of his ministry. What started as holiday performances quickly grew into fan-favorite tours that families looked forward to every Christmas season. His live Christmas album, O Holy Night, a live Christmas celebration, released in 2008 through Word Records, captured sold-out performances filled with breathtaking orchestral music, beloved Christmas classics, and original holiday songs. The album reached number 4 on Billboard's Holiday Albums chart, proving just how deeply these Christmas celebrations had connected with audiences. As the 2010s unfolded, David continued taking greater ownership of both his music and his creative direction. His 2015 project Freedom, released through Gaither Music Group and produced by David himself, became another important milestone in his career. The live DVD from the project climbed to the top of Billboard's music video sales chart, highlighting not only his growing popularity, but also his ability to produce outstanding live performances. He continued that success with Hymnal in 2017 through Springhouse. David helped write, arrange, and shape many of the songs featured on the album, which also earned a place on Billboard's Christian Albums chart. The project reflected his continuing relationship with the Gaither family of labels, while giving fresh life to timeless gospel hymns and treasured songs that had inspired believers for generations. In 2021, David introduced another exciting chapter with the release of Game Changer through Stowtown Records. The album featured 15 songs that blended inspirational music with modern pop influences, while revealing an even more personal side of his songwriting. One of the most touching moments on the project was Eye to Eye, a special collaboration with his son, Grant Phelps. Through these songs, David shared honest stories about everyday life, encouraging listeners to face challenges with faith, hope, and confidence. As David experienced both his greatest successes and his hardest struggles, who was there to stand beside him? Or was he left to carry the burden alone? Stay tuned to find out. The family behind David Phelps' success. David's wife, Lori Purtle Phelps, who was also born on October 21, 1969, has been one of the greatest sources of strength and support in his life. Together, they have built a close-knit family and are the proud parents of 4 children: Callie, Maggie Beth, David Grant, and Kobe. Music has always been a special part of their home, and it is something they have shared as a family over the years. Callie, Maggie, and Grant appeared in the Gaither homecoming videos Christmas in the Country and a Time for Joy, while the entire Phelps family was featured in The Best of David Phelps from the Homecoming series. All 4 of their children also sang on the classic video, highlighting the family's shared love for music and ministry. Throughout David's more than 30-year music career, Lori has faithfully stood beside him through every season, offering constant love, encouragement, and wise support as they faced both career decisions and the responsibilities of raising a family. Together, they have carefully balanced the busy schedule of touring with the importance of creating a warm and stable home for their children. Their deep Christian faith has remained at the center of their lives, shaping the way they make decisions, face challenges, and support one another. By putting God first, they have continued to grow spiritually, strengthen their marriage, and build a loving, united family that reflects the values they have always cherished. Could David Phelps's revelation make a positive difference in the gospel community? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us as we explored David Phelps' revelation. Could his story bring hope and encouragement to the gospel community? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video on your screen to explore more revelations. See you there.